The Big Byte is supported by Telecom Australia and Intel.
Free your mind. To the future.
Amazing.
Now I've gone ahead and selected pizza from fast food and my favourite pizza restaurant. Let's see what we can choose from tonight.
And very soon we'll be able to put 10,000 books on a single little disc.
The storytelling traditions of Australia's Aborigines are being transferred to film with the help of computers.
Hi, I'm Hayden. I'm the games reporter for The Big Byte. And soon I'll tell you about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Keep living.
Hi there, I'm Basia, Bonkowski. Welcome to The Big Byte. Over the next 6 months, The Big Byte will introduce us to the extraordinary world of computers and the people using them. It's going to be informative, sometimes surprising, and we hope a lot of fun.
Television as we know it is about to change forever. Hooked to a computer system, there'll almost be no reason to leave home. You'll be able to do business, do schoolwork, play a video game with someone on the other side of the globe, and have access to an unlimited amount of information. It's called Video on Demand, and tonight here at CBS Studios in Hollywood, it'll be launched to the world. The company behind the new interactive cable television is a San Francisco-based company called Oracle. The event is being hosted by Walter Cronkite and the chairman of Oracle, Larry Ellison.
I'd like to welcome those of you in New York and Tokyo and Sydney and...
Using existing phone and cable lines, the interactive highway will connect you to a digital library, a massively parallel computer with Oracle Media Service software.
An important reminder from your executive assistant has become active in your personal section.
And the idea of interactive TV is you can navigate through this wealth of information, the wealth of services to get what you want and when you want it.
Your choices for shopping are department stores, sporting goods, home improvement, books, or select more for other choices.
As part of the service, the shops will never close, with access to all the major outlets at the click of a button.
Hello, and welcome to Macy's. We're a part of your life.
And Video on Demand will provide every movie ever made. Prompted by a friendly voice, there'll be absolutely no reason to visit a local video store.
Sorry for the interruption, Larry. You have an urgent message. Would you like to see it now?
Interactive television is going to give you choice, personalization, customization of services, and it's going to allow you to customize your use of the appliance to what you want.
For thousands of business people, this could be the end of commuting, as they have the option to telecommute from home. The other exciting possibilities are with education.
What about a classroom could actually control an experiment by interactive TV on a space shuttle or deep undersea?
The unlimited amount of information will include access to personalized newspapers and the latest news any way you choose.
ABC, CBS, CNN, personalized, or choose more.
As you can see, the information highway is heaven for the couch potato. And if you love food as much as I do, then watch this.
Please choose from fast foods, ethnic, gourmet, or family food.
Now I've gone ahead and selected pizza from fast food and my favorite pizza restaurant. Let's see what we can choose from tonight.
Hi, this is Peter from Amici's. Now my assistant will help you make your pizza.
And the all-important toppings. Would you like some meat mix?
For payment, we accept American Express, Visa, ATM cards, and cash.
I'm going to use my Visa card, and I mix, yes.
To complete your order, select Deliver.
And the pizza will be here soon, boy. As easy as that. At this stage, the exact cost of having the interactive highway in your home is unclear. But no one will be able to ignore the effects it'll have on all of us. I put it on the Visa. Okay, nice.
This announcement here marks the beginning of truly deployable systems that can come into your home economically, where people can make a profit at providing the services and you can get real value from those services.
of us either own a personal computer or at least have access to one. But did you know that PCs, as they're known, have been around for less than 20 years? They're a product of the 70s and were designed by latter-day Robin Hoods who thought that computers should be a tool for us, not just big business. The problem is that many people are confused by the technology, so they've stayed away from computers. If you're one of these people, each week the Big Byte brings you the Computer Illiterate's Survival Guide. We'll explain the often mind-boggling jargon, and it can be, and highlight what you need to know in order to use your computer more effectively. The main advantage of a computer is that it's flexible. This flexibility is provided by software. The computer responds to your commands the way it does because of the software you use, and that's also the cause of most of your problems. We'll spend a lot of time on the Big Byte looking at software, explaining how different applications, as they're called, will work for you. Software comes to you on diskettes or floppies. The word floppy was coined for these old-fashioned diskettes, and it's stuck. Inside the diskette is a circular piece of plastic with a magnetic substance coated on it, and that's where the information's stored. And built into your computer is a hard disk, which holds enormous amounts of information. It's very much like a deep freeze, storing the software while you're not using it. In part 2 of this week's Computer Illiterate Survival Guide, we'll look at how the computer uses the software.
Don't forget, we've got a great computer animation competition coming up later in the show on the Big Byte.
Books make sense of life, so said the English novelist Julian Barnes. For centuries now, our civilization has been recorded and even changed by words on the printed page. And even today, there's still nothing that gives quite the pleasure of the look and the feel and the texture of a good book. But it seems sadly those days may be coming to an end. We're about to enter the era of electronic publishing. At the Brasenose College Library here in Oxford, there are 20,000 books. It's expected that in the near future, the entire contents of this library could be compressed onto a single CD, the same size as this one. It's a new one called the Classics Library, and on it are 1,250 works of literature, the complete works of Shakespeare, Shelley, Keats, the Bible, the Koran, Virgil, Voltaire, you name it. And very soon we'll be able to put 10,000 books on a single little disc. The revolution called electronic publishing has begun, and one of the key players is Andromeda Interactive. They've just launched their first fully interactive reference work, which they call the Space Encyclopedia.
That project was a major learning curve for us. We came from a background being a traditional print publisher, and we decided to go into electronic publishing, so we had to gear up, learn new skills, animation, sound, the software skills, so it was a major learning curve. We're not going to make people stop using books. The idea is that this is a new form of media, a new form of learning, and it has to offer the interactivity and the visual elements that a book can't deliver. CD-ROM has moved from being a reference-based material to an entertainment and an interactive. So we're doing a lot of highly interactive and entertaining products. We're working with some of the major publishing companies, the film companies, producing sort of interactive, very entertaining material, very visually strong. Less so on the tech side, moving towards the animation, the visual, the sound.
Cultures are defined by language, and language, of course, is defined by a dictionary, none more famous than the one created here at Oxford, the OED, all 20 volumes of it. And that, too, is about to undergo a revolution brought on by the compact disc. It was first published in 1933, and its 500,000 words are the standard guide to the English language.
The first thing that strikes newcomers to high technology now would be the fact that all 20 volumes can actually fit on a CD-ROM. That's the extraordinary thing at first inspection. But in fact, what makes the product quite different, the electronic product, is the presence of software which allows you to analyze, explore, browse through the text in ways you simply can't do with the printed book. Let's suppose you wanted to know every word that was first cited in the language and thus deemed to have entered the language during the Second World War. You can, in a matter of seconds, say, please list all the words that were first quoted between 1939 and 1945. It'll tell you within 10 seconds how many words there are and start to list them for you. It's interesting, you often have to overcome an initial technophobia. Perhaps the best example I can think of was a visit we had from the late writer Anthony Burgess, who came up to Oxford having a computer which he used purely for word processing and rather deeply suspicious, I sensed, of what this electronic edition did to a book he quite famously and publicly loved. By showing him the software, by showing him the kind of searches you could do, one of which told him there were 56 quotations from his novels in the OED, I think he quite rapidly fell in love with it. He named it in the Observer of London his book of the year, though he made much of the fact that this book was in fact what he called a metallic beer mat. Kids today are accustomed to computers, are accustomed to looking at screens and to looking at material on screens. They don't have the cultural divide to cross that people of our generation do, and I'm not at all sure they have the aesthetic attachment or just the habitual attachment to the printed book.
The pen is mightier than the mouse, or so it seems if you accept the advertising for the latest handheld computers, such as Apple's Newton. Unfortunately, personal digital assistants, as they're called, fall far short of our expectations for a computer. To enter large amounts of information, a keyboard really is the ultimate tool. What would be ideal then is a computer that allows you to choose the pen or the keyboard as the situation demands. The new compact Concerto is setting the pace for both by offering both alternatives. So let's see what happens. With the pen, I can crop and edit photographs. I can write more naturally than I can with a mouse, although that's not really how I write, believe me. Or I can actually update my address book. The Concerto comes with handwriting recognition software, which unfortunately, oops, is nothing to write home about. So the Boffins have cleverly provided an on-screen keyboard. There's no doubt that the keyboard has earned its place alongside the pen. However, it's ironic that of these two, the pen is viewed as the tool of the future.
For over 40,000 years, Australia's Aborigines have preserved their lore and traditions through storytelling. Like many oral cultures, they're now confronted with the problem of how to keep those traditions alive. Here in Sydney, a group of Aboriginal animators are finding a new way of telling their stories. Dreaming stories have been told from generation to generation. And from the bush to the beach, they form the basis of Aboriginal people's culture.
When the world was young, in the dream time, the little black snake, he was a harmless creature, but he never hurt anyone.
Pauline McLeod is a keeper of over 200 special stories, including the tale of how the black snake became poisonous. With computers, her snake is coming alive in a way her ancestors could never have imagined. Aboriginal Nations is the first Indigenous animation group in the world. It set out not just to be successful, but to be true to ancient traditions.
We're the only company that we know of in the world that is doing it this way, and we're doing it right.
Doing it right means authenticity, getting traditional storytellers in each region to tell their special legends, and then commissioning Aboriginal artists to paint works based on those stories. And it's these that form the basis for the animators. Their backgrounds and characters are what the animators work from. From storyboards, artists create line drawings on paper that are then filmed by a video camera and fed into a computer which converts the drawing into electronic data. From there, the digital drawings are brought to life with colour and backgrounds, and the pictures run together to create movements. Most of the animators are Aboriginal, chosen for their ability to draw but lacking any animation skills. Because of tight deadlines, they were given just 11 weeks training in computer graphics and animation, and they managed to create magic.
A long time ago in the Australian desert lived Jidin, a pretty Aboriginal girl. Jidin is the name for flower.
With computers, they were able to instantly be trained. In other words, we could train them on the day they arrived for the training course. We could say, sit in front of this, pick this up, point to that and see the colour fill the space. And suddenly they saw the kangaroo they had drawn coloured in a matter of seconds. And then we said, well, we can move this if you do a few more drawings like this. And they did. Within a day, they were animating. It was remarkable. And at the end of it, we thought, gee, you know, we thought we wouldn't have enough time to train them, but we did.
Background artist Steve Williams used to be a fitter on the railways before he discovered fitting trees into a landscape was much more fun.
Right through from the beginning, it's come from the Dreamtime stories, passed on, so it's being handled by Aboriginal people all the way through. We've had teachers that aren't Aboriginal, but apart from that, it's good that, you know, everything's been done by Aboriginal people.
So far, Aboriginal nations have animated 7 traditional stories and are now creating one a month. The goal is 130 stories in the next 5 years that can be sold to television around the world. And they're hoping other Indigenous cultures may follow their example.
If it was possible, we would certainly like to set up satellite animation studios in every Indigenous community in the world and get them going and walk away from it and say, why don't you do your own stories? Because that, in the end, that's the only way these stories will stay around.
And I can't wait for projects down the road when it involves the Dreamtime stories with the pure magic of animation. It'll just blow people's mind. And I really reckon Walt Disney just eat your heart out by the time we're finished. And that's how I see it.
Thousands of people are enjoying the advantages of using a small portable computer. I know I am. They're as powerful as their desktop cousins, but are light, use rechargeable batteries, and can be operated anywhere in the world. Any computer that you can comfortably carry is called a portable, although you might also know them as notebooks or laptops. To put a computer into such a small package, compromises have been made. The main things to suffer have been the size of the screen and the keyboard. For the sake of your eyes and fingers, though, really a computer like this big one here is better for extended use. Inside the body of a desktop, there's plenty of room to fit a whole bundle of extras to install video, sound, or even music equipment. Now, these little cards here, called PCMCIA cards, you'd think they could have come up with something a bit shorter than that to match their size. They've been invented so you can do the same thing with your portable, and they're inserted into this slot. Most portable computers have practically full-sized keyboards and enough power to run the latest software. If you are considering buying one, it should have at least 4 megabyte of RAM, an 80 megabyte hard disk, or a 486 processor. Sounds a bit like a car, and I have a sneaky suspicion that women didn't come up with these terms. Hey, welcome to the Big Byte Corner Store. These notebooks are arranged roughly in order of price. At the low end, they have black and white screens, often no mouse or other pointing device, and don't have many options for increasing the computer's capacity. Computers like this are ideal for students or people who take work home from the office. They'll do basic word processing and number crunching. The most popular models are in this mid-range. They have colour screens and many of them the infamous PCMCIA slot. This Acer will operate faster than most of the low-end models. At the top of the range, you'll be buying features that lesser mortals simply dream of. This Apple PowerBook and this IBM ThinkPad have built-in sound capabilities. This IBM ThinkPad has its own unique joystick. Look at that little thing here instead of a mouse, but it looks a bit fiddly to me. But IBM do claim to have the largest screen currently available. The Apple PowerBook has a handrest at the front of the keyboard with a centrally placed trackball. In future models, this will be replaced with, would you believe, a small pad you can control with a fingernail. Perhaps the most useful computer for people on the road, however, is this Canon. It comes with its own printer, so you can produce hard copies from the comfort of your hotel room. It's a little slow, but it beats carrying an extra bit of equipment around. Later in the series, we'll look at the babies of the portable range, and these are fantastic sub-notebooks like this little Quaderno. The wide range can be a little daunting at first, but if you start by deciding what you need your computer to do, which is important, you can then make sensible choices to match your budget.
Here's your chance to get your animation on television and win some great gear from Lakovision. Over the next 13 weeks, the best work we see will win a complete animation and video effects suite based on a high-end compact computer. Each week, the hottest animator will win a televised video encoder from Lakovision. This gizmo converts your computer signal into video you can record on your VCR. This wild piece is the sort of animation that's out there, so get cracking. Submit your work on IBM-compatible diskettes in the flick file format. We don't care about disk size or length of animation, we just want to see your style. We'll announce the first winner in 1 month, so send your entries to Lakovision now.
You got a problem?
Earlier in the show, we talked about software and disks. Let's look inside the computer and see what happens when you use a computer program. You start by giving the computer instructions. Instructions are just signals that run from the keyboard to the processor, or the brain of the computer. The processor sends an instruction to the hard disk, and the program you want is copied from the disk into the memory. Random access memory, or RAM, is a term you'll hear a lot of, but it's not a memory that's permanent. That's why you'll have to save before turning off your machine. Until you do this, you could lose everything, and that can be a disaster, believe me. It's important to know how much disk storage and memory your computer has. Storage is measured in megabytes. That's short for millions of bytes. 1 byte, as in the big byte, is enough to store 1 letter of the Roman alphabet. It takes 2 bytes, however, to store a single Japanese or Chinese character. 1 diskette can store around 1 megabyte, which is about the length of a novel. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but it takes a lot more space. Since most photographs occupy more than a megabyte when they're converted into computer files, you can probably only get about 1 photo, depending on its detail though, per diskette. Most hard disks these days hold more than 100 megabytes, so they could hold 100 novels, but would struggle to contain the images of 1 feature film. Each week, we're going to describe 1 aspect of computing. But for now, all you need to know is that bigger hard disks allow you to keep more information and programs. More memory allows you to do more things on screen faster. The mouse, like this one here, or on the PowerBook, it's this little trackball, that drives the computer, and the keyboard is for entering information.
What's that noise? My goodness.
Hi, I'm Hayden. I'm the games expert for the Big Byte. And if you're wondering what this thing on my head is, this is so you can see the game from my point of view and watch how I play. Okay, now first we'll be reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which starts off exactly where Sonic the Hedgehog 2 left off. You've just destroyed Dr. Robotnik, and now he's gone to an evil floating island, and he has to get some emeralds so he can take over the world. So let's take a look at it now. Okay, here we go. Zooming in over the ocean so we can get the island, and that's your buddy Tails. And he helps you out a bit, and you can race him, and sometimes you have to fight him, so he's not as good as he seems. Okay, now we can go in here. Now, as you can see, it's got pretty good graphics for a Mega Drive game, and it controls easily, I guess, but sometimes you just lose it because you have to gather speed in the Sonic games, as we all know. And up here's the secret bit. You have to see this. Okay, get those secret things, and off we go. Now, it's an easy game. It's nice and playable. It's fast, and I guess that's why a lot of people like it, because they can only play it in the shops. It's so easy, even your parents can play it. The soundtrack is a bit Barry Manilow, but that's okay. And you can get lots of bonuses like this one here. Destroy that. Yep, so apart from that, I'd give it about a 6 out of 10. I'm Hayden, see ya.
Next week, no longer will you simply listen to music, you'll interact with it. Carol Bass, a high-tech executive who hasn't lost her sense of humor. And flying by the seat of your pants without leaving the ground on the Big Byte.
Extraordinary.
The Big Byte was brought to you by Telecom Australia and Intel.
Meet Margaret Pearman. She runs a small business.
Wholesale bakery.
All right, Margaret, what can Telecom do for you?
Save me money on my STD calls. With free membership.
Taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. We're taking care of business. It's alright. Taking care of business and working overtime.
They listened.
Ring now and find out how to save 10% with Telecom's STD Flexi Plan.
Imagine a processor that's not just about more power. It's about an entirely new kind of PC. One that responds instantly to whatever you ask of it. One that breathes new life, a new spark into all your software. That's the power of the Pentium processor. From Intel, the computer inside.